Still fixing my new mic. I've got another webcam video for you guys today. It's a story. So in September of 2022, I went all in on my agency, like all in, all in. I started paying a coach 3.5K a month. I abandoned everything. Like I killed my 25K per month cold email process, turned my Facebook ads off, started absolutely fresh running YouTube ads to acquire clients. So starting again in September, basically from here, what I did was I set up all my systems. And one of the biggest things I learned in September, we'll get into it in a second, but I mean, basically in the first week of running ads, I was losing it. I was completely panicking because it was like I was 5 days deep and my lead cost was like, I think $120 or $130, and I was spending like 140 a day, and there were days where I was getting no leads. And like the first few days I didn't really get any leads, so I was like really freaking out. Um, Thankfully, having worked with someone who had run YouTube ads before, I was able to be taught, yo, just like chill, just let it run, you'll be good. Uh, I waited another week. Things like slowly started to get a little bit better. And I was like, okay, but you know, at the 10-day mark, like I was spooked. I can't lie, I was spooked. And you'll see where this goes. Like things changed quite drastically, and there were a couple like really minor changes I made that turned this whole thing around, and we can get into that. But um, really from there, like day 10, I was still panicking because I'm like, I'm dropping all this money, and like I had committed to losing, you know, 3 to 5 thousand, or I think I committed to losing $5,000 with ads and just totally throwing that money out the window. But I didn't want to, right? And it's like a big part of media buying is it's a very mental game. So in businesses in general, it's a very mental, very emotional game. So I just had to trust this guy who I was also paying 3.5K per month. So like I'm just like, you know, dumping money into this thing. And day 10, you know, there's really not much to show for it. There were a couple minor changes I made to the landing page, but the only changes I really made were like adding phone numbers so that I could call these people, because I initially was only running the landing page with collecting emails. And then the other thing was like I wrote for real estate agents and brokers only at the top, because I was getting some people who were, you know, wholesalers and just investors, and not my target clients basically. So this helped with the lead quality. And what happened from there was I did basically nothing other than maybe turn off one campaign that wasn't working as well as I wanted it to. And then by the end of month one, I was like, damn, my lead cost was down like sub $40. And I was like, and actually, no, in the first month, I had my first day where my lead cost was under $10. And I did nothing except for, again, change the landing page headline and add phone numbers to the landing page and turn off one campaign that was like spending like $25 a day. That was all that I did. And the lead costs like seriously started going down. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I don't know if this is going to keep up or what. And I was a little bit like confused about what to expect. And I wasn't really prepared. But the biggest learning lesson I got out of month number one was that with YouTube ads, there's this like downward trend lead cost effect that takes place. The algorithm needs to learn. From what I've heard, I don't really have much experience with Google search ads like PPC, but from what I've heard, the same thing is true with Google, where it just takes some time for the machine learning to, you know, play out and do its job. And I learned a similar thing in month two. Month two, everything just went ballistic. Honestly, I was so not prepared for month two. So as I mentioned in month one, I had my first day where I had a lead cost of, it was like $9 or something. So I'm like, okay, this is hype because the money is starting to enter my vision. I'm like, yo, like I'm happy with a $35 lead cost right now. We're looking at sub 10. Like this is going to be nuts. And I wasn't even spending that much on ads, right? Spending like $4,000 a month. And so From there, month 2, more or less the same trend continued. Now, the lead cost didn't go down to like $2 or anything, but by the end of month 2, what we were looking at was an average lead cost of, I think it was $16 for the whole of month 2, and the whole of month 1 averaged out to be, I think it was 32 or 35, something like that. So the lead quantity tripled in month 2. And then I just came to this point where I was like, yo, like, there are way too many leads. I can't keep up with the leads. You know, in the blink of an eye, within a week, my leads to follow up with in my CRM went from like 20 or 30 per day up to like 80 that I hadn't even, you know, had answer the phone yet, let alone all the people that did answer the phone and all the appointments I booked. So things were really, really kicking hard. And then I started to panic. I was like dumb stressed. It was crazy. And so I panic hired an appointment setter. That was a pretty funny story in and of itself, actually. Basically, I hired this dude. I give him a commission model. I'm like, yo, I'll give you $500 per client that I close based on leads that you call and book in. So there's an opportunity for him to make a lot of money for being in the Philippines. Like, the opportunity was like in the range of like 3 or 4K per month as an appointment setter. And so this dude starts booking appointments like crazy, right? So now my calendar is getting completely stacked. The no-show rate was insanely high though. Like, this guy was booking like, you know, his show rate was like 35% or something. So I was like, this is kind of crazy. Like, nobody's showing up, but he's booking in like a madman. And like, I liked how he was talking on the phone and everything. I was just kind of, I'd never hired a VA like overseas as an appointment setter before, so this is a new experience for me. And what ended up happening though was this dude started like making the wildest excuses and not showing up to work like really quickly. Like, basically, you know, long story short, this dude ended up not showing up to work on like a Tuesday, and or no, he doesn't show up on Monday and just doesn't even tell me he's not showing up. I messaged him like, are you alive? Like, what is this? And he gives me some excuse, and I forgot what it was. I'm like, okay, fair enough, but you got to tell me if you're not going to be showing up. And then Tuesday rolls around. He messages me in the morning, hey, I'm not going to be showing up for like half the day. I'm like, bro, like, that's not how this works. You're not just taking unlimited days off here, right? And then from there, I don't, after I respond to him saying that, I'm like, bro, like, you can't just be doing this. I don't hear back from him Wednesday, Thursday, and then I hear back from him finally on WhatsApp on Thursday, and he makes calls on Wednesday, I think, but like the WhatsApp was off or something like this. And then on the Thursday, he comes back, and on Wednesday I message him like, what is happening right now, right? I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And no response, right? And I'm like, okay, classic. He responds to me on WhatsApp on Thursday. This guy goes, sorry, my WhatsApp was down. Yesterday was, oh no. He worked Tuesday, like half of Tuesday and then all of Wednesday, something like that. Didn't work Thursday. Then Friday he responded. He just didn't work Thursday again. Then he goes, sorry, my WhatsApp was down. Yesterday was my sister's birthday, and today is my dad's birthday, so I won't be working today. I was like, peace, dude. See you later. So that was a whole entire situation. So then all of a sudden in December, I had no appointment setter. In December, I did a bunch of revenue, and I've talked about that in other videos. But like, then in December, also my lead cost averaged out, or November, my lead cost averaged out to be 12. In December, it was something similar to that, and it kind of stabilized. But fast forward a little bit more, I like desperately needed to hire some people. So I hired an operations manager. I got so lucky. One of my high school friends, he like finished university. He was working for the government, and he was looking to change jobs. Perfect opportunity. Love the guy. His name's Nick. Now from there, I also needed another appointment setter. Thankfully, I got one referred to me. That's a whole other story. I got deceived out of a lot of money by this girl. If you guys want a story on that, let me know. It was wild. But from here on out, up until March, it was all pretty much smooth sailing with regards to the YouTube ads, the lead cost, appointment cost, closed deal. My CAC, my cost per acquisition, or my cost to acquire a client was all in check, and that was all cool. Then I wanted to get a sales rep, so I got that stuff going in like April, May. But one thing that happened in March was my lead costs started to go up on my campaigns. And I was so confused. I was like, is this click fraud? Because like I would see just like a boatload of clicks coming in on my Google Ads Manager. And I was like, I couldn't figure it out. I was like, is this click fraud? Like what could be going on here? So, or some searches led me to the fact that it could be click fraud. So I start looking into things like ClickSees, and I use these other tools, and I don't even remember what they were, to like find out and like test my traffic quality on my landing page over a few days. And I'm starting to panic. I'm like, everything's kind of falling apart right now, it feels like. Like all my funnel metrics were insane before, like insane before. And now everything's starting to like kind of taper off. And it had been, keep in mind, it had been 6 months where I basically touched nothing. I didn't even make a single new ad. I don't even know that I tested a single extra audience. I think I just wrote out what I had. And started to, well, at this point I started to scale. I was like, okay, well, let's increase the ad budget just to get more calls coming through on the calendar, more leads to be able to provide to the setter, because the setter wasn't having enough leads. And I was like, oh no, I want to be able to provide her enough of an income. And yes, funny situation then. But so I increased the ad budget, but then my lead costs like went up. So like a good amount, right? And I'm like, okay, well, like now I'm spending a lot more and I'm not getting that many more leads. So now I'm testing ads and I'm like trying to figure out this click fraud thing. And I'm thinking it's click fraud. And I'm like so confused because normally with Facebook ads, it's pretty easy to see like within a few weeks or several weeks, ad fatigue kicks in, right? But with this case, I could see it was the trend line was very slow. And it was like the lead cost was very, very gradually going up, like very gradually. With Facebook, you'll have things blow out within 3 days. And the big learning lesson here, I'll get to in a little bit. But I did a bunch of research. Was it click fraud? Was it ad fatigue, right? Testing new ads, and like that had brought lead costs down temporarily, but then they started to go up again a little bit. And then I was like, wait, my YouTube channel, I pivoted from realtors to agency owners because I found out that most of my viewers were agency owners anyway. I was thinking, was it that? Like, what was the AI getting trained on targeting the wrong types of people? Because I was retargeting my YouTube viewers too. So my YouTube viewers would click onto my landing page, and then Google's AI would take that as positive feedback, and these people would sign up to the ads too and like funnel hack me basically, right? So then I'm like, okay, so we're training the AI to look for agency owners when that is not who I'm trying to target. So I went and like shut off all my retargeting campaigns. And then I was like, shit, like I just like totally spun everything out, didn't I? And now it's trending in this terrible direction. So then I started looking into, so that plus ad fatigue was the problem. It was a combination of both and the learning lessons here were two things. One, don't send the wrong people to your landing pages. That was horrible. But two, YouTube ad fatigue is very, very slow and gradual. So click fraud wasn't even an issue. If there is click fraud, Google auto detects it for you and auto refunds you also, and it's blatant in your account. So you don't really have to worry about that. People can send bot traffic to your stuff and like they can cause you problems, but it's not really much of a concern. If like you see some click fraud happen in your Google Ads Manager on one odd day, it might spend like triple or double what your daily budget is, and then it'll just like go back down and they'll refund you that money. So it's not too big of a deal. But one of the fixes I did for the whole like wrong AI targeting thing was I just blocked certain channels from seeing my ads. Like my ads are being displayed on like Eman Gadgey's channel. I'm like, well, that is just, no real estate agents watch this dude, right? So I blocked my ads from being displayed on a lot of these like agency channels. But then I also made a new separate ad account and trained it fresh from scratch. Started putting some new ads in to combat the ad fatigue, and around July things got fixed and like put back to normal. But that was like a 3-4 month setback from March to July, just like constantly testing, assessing, seeing what's wrong, all of this stuff. It was a mess. It was a complete mess. And then lo and behold, in July, they announced that this new A2P thing's coming in with Twilio. So, for agencies, for anybody who's using Twilio and doing, SMS and calling and everything, you need to like register for this new thing. There's this new legislation that's dropping, blah, blah, blah. And what I had found was that with A2P, it actually because there's the whole spam likely thing, right? You make calls to people, your phone numbers are showing up as spam likely, so then your answer rate drops. So at around this time when A2P dropped at the end of August, our appointment setting rate through my setter dropped by like almost 50%, because now like all the phone numbers are showing up as spam, and we tried some different options, and it was just like your job as an entrepreneur is to identify and solve problems. So this is just me giving you the full unfiltered, like, this is what happened kind of situation. But in terms of the YouTube ads, everything did manage to get balanced out, got calls back on the calendar, et cetera, et cetera. And that kind of more or less takes us to, end of 2023. But yeah, so little story about my YouTube ad stuff. If you want to learn a lot more about YouTube ads, I have this like private scaling group for agency owners. I really don't care if you join it or not. There's a link in the description. But otherwise, go to my channel, watch whatever videos are there, or you can just click whatever videos popping up on screen, and I'll see you there.